Images from Bellari in Karnataka that have shocked people everywhere, not just in the state, but around the country, leaving you wondering, this is the curse of the poor and the labor class in this country. In Karnataka's Bellari, a human resources manager of the company Jindal Steel thrashes his employees mercilessly using an iron rod for allegedly sleeping in his cabin. These images have shocked people everywhere. A manager of a company like Jindal Steel thrashing laborers for sleeping in his cabin and on the job. As you can see, he uses a metal rod to thrash them, intimidate them and injure them. Also on the show today, it's a story that has sickened people across the country. Watch what you eat and the place you pick it up from. The place that is serving you food may be unhygienic. It could even kill you. A restaurant in Bengaluru has served these idlis with poisonous centipedes buried inside them, and these were apparently consumed by a 6-year-old girl, leaving her severely sick and food poisoned. But we're going to go straight to those shocking images from Bellari in Karnataka, where a man on your screen, his name is Akash. He's the human resources manager of the Jindal Steel Company in Bellari district, the mining capital of the country in Karnataka. He's seen in these images abusing, thrashing and intimidating shirtless laborers mercilessly, beating them black and blue using an iron rod. These laborers were allegedly found sleeping in HR manager's cabin at this particular factory. And how does he respond to it? He picks up a metal rod and begins to strip, thrash and abuse these laborers. Take a look at the video. Let's put the sound up. Decide for yourself what's going on. As you can see in this video, those laborers are literally begging to be left alone. They've had their shirts taken away from them. And while somebody else, probably another laborer, films this entire abuse on his mobile phone, these two laborers, hapless, helpless, defenseless and unarmed, are beaten black and blue by an HR manager of Jindal Steel. This from Bellari in Karnataka. Giving you once again a view of the completely hopeless situation for India's poor, India's defenseless. 2 laborers in Jindal Steel's factory in Bellari are beaten black and blue by the HR manager for sleeping on the job. All right, I want to quickly go across to India Today's Pratibha Raman for more on this. Pratibha, what action has been taken against this HR manager by Jindal Steel? Has he been arrested for this beating?
Well, in fact, Shiv, what is appalling is the fact that there's absolutely been no action that has been taken so far, because many of the ministers as well as the authorities here seem to be defending, the action of the HR manager here, stating that it is a private company's issue and that these laborers have gone in without prior permission into a restricted area. But still, the question here is, how does that give the HR manager the right to actually take up an iron rod and beat them up like that? These are some of the questions that really need to be answered. Is the labor as well as the laws gone to the drain, so much so that these laborers have to undergo this much of torture? The condition of bonded laborers continues to exist in a state like Karnataka as well as the country. Shiv.
Stay with me, Pratibha. We have Gopal Hosur, former Inspector General of Police of Karnataka, with us on the phone line. Mr. Hosur, what do you make of this? You know, a factory manager beating up laborers because they were sleeping on the job, apparently inside the manager's cabin. They've taken away their shirts, beating them brutally using an iron rod.
Can I reply?
Yes, please.
Yeah, after this episode was shown on the local TV channels, I did make my inquiries about this incident.
Yes.
I think the fact that you have got is probably not correct. I understand that 3 of the casual laborers, employees, had entered through a window into a prohibited area
Yes.
and were sleeping there. And when the supervisory officer came to that place, he suddenly found that there were 3 people who were not authorized to be in that place and who had entered through a window. So probably he has used some abusive language against them. And thereafter, I think they ran away from that place. And I think the local, the management has made enquiries on its own, as well as the local police have also been inquiring into this matter.
But isn't this criminal behavior, sir, the way this man has reacted to those 2 laborers?
No, I don't think he was a bit taken aback by the presence of these people, and I think probably in a bit of excitement or anger, he must have used abusive language against them. But I understand that there was no case of beating up of anybody there.
But it's clearly there on camera. You can see him hitting them with the iron rod.
No, I don't think so that he has hit them with the iron rods. That is factually incorrect. Now he has used the iron rod, he has used a pole, which has made some sound. The fact that he has beaten them or that...
Okay, Gopal Hosur, you're defending a criminal action. I'm pretty surprised that a retired officer like yourself would, find excuses to explain behavior of this kind. You're trying to pull out as many excuses as you can in the book to actually defend, an act of this kind. I leave it to your wisdom, sir, but thank you for speaking here on India Today. Gopal Hosur, a former IGP of Karnataka, there saying he doesn't believe that this was there. It must have been a fit of rage. Excuses being found for this particular HR manager of Jindal Steel apparently assaulting these laborers. The circumstances surrounding which Gopal Hosur says are suspicious. These people may have entered from some other entry and we may never know exactly what may have happened, but an investigation, internal and otherwise, is currently in progress. All right, now a story that comes as a reminder to watch what we eat and where we really get our food from. A restaurant in South Bengaluru, and I must warn you, these pictures are pretty disturbing. This restaurant in Bengaluru served idlis with poisonous centipedes inside them. And these idlis were consumed by a 6-year-old girl, leaving her terribly sick and food poisoned. The child ate the contaminated food and suffered from acute stomach upset and food poisoning. She had to undergo a stomach wash to cleanse her digestive system in its entirety. The child's mother noticed the centipede in the idlis after her child started throwing up. The child was eating at a small restaurant in JP Nagar in the city. The Department for Food Safety has shut down the place and have booked the owner for negligence and not maintaining health standards inside that eatery. Remember, centipedes are creatures that can be extremely poisonous if consumed, and it's probably a miracle, many experts say, that this child has even survived.
I say till now it has not come to my notice. Once it is there, and the Food Safety Act will take severe action will be taken. And the Food Safety Act also, the centre has done the act, but they never given what the care system should be there. One state was doing one thing.
Let's go straight across to India Today's Rohini Swami joining us live from Bengaluru. Rohini, absolutely sickening pictures. There are restaurants of this kind all across the city. People watching, these images of a centipede buried in a plate of idli, steaming hot idli served to, millions of people in Bengaluru every single morning is going to come as an absolute shock.
And it's a warning also, Shiv, to everybody, especially people who indulge in street food or food from such kind of restaurants, because this is a small eatery and typically, like you said, and people here in Bangalore also, the morning breakfast is usually from such eateries. And this was exactly the case of the child. The parents had got this steaming hot idli from an eatery for the child for breakfast. But after the child consumed, the child was feeling very uneasy, and once they realized the child was quite ill, they rushed the child to the hospital only to find the child was poisoned. It is while when they went back to see the food, they actually found this centipede there, and you can very clearly see also the medical report from the hospital saying that the child was poisoned because of this particular centipede, and that is why it happened. But warning signals across Bangalore,
Yeah.
across places where you have food, street food, because people who indulge in it now have to think twice, because one, is the place that you're eating safe? Second, it may be hot food, but is there something that is within the food that can poison you? So these kind of things is something that you really need to think each time you eat. But also, one point is also the people who are serving the food, they should also have a conscience in terms of keeping the place clean, because at the end of the day, they're also serving another human being.
Well, I'm going to be in Bengaluru next month for a short break, and I certainly hope I don't remember this story when I reach over to the nearest restaurant and try and get a plate of idlis. Rohini, but a very important story to be tracking here on Up South. Thanks for getting us on this story, but Rohini, stay with me. There's poison of another kind, well, turmoil really, staying with Karnataka after a recent cabinet reshuffle has continued with the Congress in a massive round of turbulence following protests that have broken out in the city of Bengaluru. Siddaramaiah, the chief minister, has ordered a big cabinet reshuffle, and it has simply detonated on him. Hours after the Karnataka chief minister dropped 14 ministers from his cabinet, the supporters of those sacked ministers have taken to the streets, some of them in violent protests. But that wasn't the only headache for the Karnataka Congress. Former housing minister and actor M.H. Ambarish also resigned, and the party lost another popular face in Mandya. Meanwhile, several MLAs, including Somashekar Muniratna and R.V. Devaraj, have threatened to submit their resignation. While the Karnataka Congress is facing a crisis yet again, the man who's supposed to call the shots, Rahul Gandhi, is missing in action once again, having taken a sabbatical from work soon after his birthday. So you've got Rahul Gandhi holidaying abroad, while the Congress's only stronghold in the south is burning with this massive rebellion. The move has definitely raised eyebrows, especially because the grand old party is in dire straits in yet another state, and its central leadership is nowhere to be seen.
This point of time, when the chief minister called for a cabinet of ministers meeting, council of ministers meeting, were you invited for it? Did you attend it?
Yeah, I was very much there.
Yes, but at that time also, no intimation about the fact that there will be a
He
reshuffle.
said, I'm going to reshuffle. All you people have worked with me nicely. I'm happy. So I'm going to, but it is unfortunate for me to reshuffle because of the High Command. He should call us decently, as that is chair's dignity. That he should give respect to a colleague. That you, Ambarish, you are given you 3 years. Give some to somebody else also who is in thirst of power. I would have happily given.
Rohini is still with us. Rohini, big, protests breaking out in the city of Bengaluru over those 14 ministers who've been dropped from the cabinet. Is this likely to continue for a while? Is the Congress able to bring some level of control over this?
Well, what we're seeing right now is not just dissent within the party, but we're also seeing how the opposition, especially the BJP and the JDS, taking opportunity at this point of time. We are now realizing, and I've been speaking to my sources also, that the BJP and JDS are now fishing in Congress's waters, because they are in talks with those MLAs who've been dropped from the ministry. They feel that what could be Siddaramaiah's loss could be possibly their gain also, and talks are that, and I'm getting certain names of MLAs who are in talks with the other two parties. One point also we need to realize is Siddaramaiah also initially started his career in the JDS. He himself moved out of the JDS and came to the Congress. And people like Srinivas Prasad and others also were part of the JDS, and now they feel that they were upset with the idea that Siddaramaiah takes unilateral decisions. They are also in talks with the BJP and JDS, and that's interesting to see how they may possibly go back to the party they started their career in. At the same time, putting the Congress together, keeping it together in the state is something which is a big task for Siddaramaiah. While he is in talks with the centre, trying to tell them that he does have consensus, clearly he didn't have the consensus when he went about this cabinet reshuffle and giving new portfolios to people.
Rohini, thanks so much for getting us that. Turbulence in Karnataka, one of the last bastions of the Congress, and yet the Congress leadership is nowhere in sight. Is Siddaramaiah losing his grip? Rohini, thanks for getting us that live update. To the neighbouring state of Kerala. Well, these are images that are going viral in local media. That's why we've picked them up. This is in Kozhikode in Kerala, where a drug addict sneaked into an official press conference of a police officer posing as a journalist, all to question Kerala's hotshot excise commissioner. Well, this was basically to ask why the law is soft on peddlers. An eager journalist shot a few specific questions to the Commissioner on drug peddling. Most of the queries were on why the law is soft on peddlers and what the maximum penalty is if caught trafficking ganja. Well, it turns out that the man shooting those questions to the police officer was a drug addict himself, and he was arrested shortly thereafter.
You see, intentions are not important. If he has done a wrong thing, so we took a case of impersonation. We informed to, it was very nice on the part of the press people only. They only came and informed that one among them is not related with the press. We took him to the local police, and they, I think, they have taken a case of impersonation.
Well, as the world celebrated and began their day with yoga today, actress Bipasha Basu, joined by politicians and yoga gurus, did yoga together in Bengaluru's Kantirava Stadium early this morning. Here's Bipasha with those moves. About 5,000 persons participated in the event. It was organized by various government departments in association with a private organization dedicated to popularizing yoga. Well, Bipasha Basu is well known as a fitness icon, dedicating herself now to Yoga Day.
On the ground. Slowly calm down. As an actor, people of Bengaluru have given me a lot of love, and I wish them all the well. Please practice yoga. Yeah, it's World Yoga Day, International Yoga Day. Please practice yoga. It will do you like wonders. Thank you.
I think this is yoga is the one area which can give solutions for all these things, to keep the body fitness, to keep the mental health, and even bodily health also, that can be achieved by doing yoga.
आज के दिन में जीवन शैली के व्याधियों के बारे में, रोगों के बारे में बहुत ही चर्चा है और पूरा दुनिया मुझसे आहत है। यदि जीवन शैली को ठीक करना, लाइफस्टाइल को ठीक करना और ये सारे व्याधियों से बचना, आने के दिन में एक ही रोशनी है, वो योग है। मुझे लगता है स्वास्थ्य दुनिया का बहुत बड़ा रोशनी योग है।
As we've promised you in the big run-up to Kabali's mega release, we've promised that we're going to get you every possible little update, no matter how small, no matter how big, first and exclusive here on India Today. Well, today we have the extremely talented Anu Vardhan, the designer who actually created superstar Rajnikant's costume for the movie Kabali. Here he is, an exclusive conversation with India.
He's like a kid, he's like a baby, he's like everything he wears, he gets so excited, and that motivates you. It's like I think he's a huge motivation for people who work with him. He gets a new, oh, this is nice. When he appreciates you, every bit he appreciates, and that's a huge boost, no, for technicians like us. So I think I absolutely loved working with him, and it was a fantastic experience working with him.
Again, based on the trailer, I'll ask you, since the movie, we're all waiting for the movie so much. On one particular scene, he wears a dhoti and a shirt, and the other one, my favorite, kaleidoscope shirt. And then the other one, he has this costume design, like a suit, an Italian suit kind of stuff. So does it mean like 3 different sets together, or do we have any more surprises in the movie when it comes to this kind of dress code alone?
I was done what I was asked to do. Ranjit would brief me what kind of a look, and I was done. I have given that look to Rajni sir. So even I am waiting very eagerly, like you guys, to watch the film and see why Ranjit actually asked me to dress him up like that. So let's watch it together.
All right, coming up next, thanks for watching Up South. Up next, we've got the best thing as far as Yoga Day coverage is concerned. We've got a report card of the yoga performance of all of our mantris and netas. Remember, many of them went out there to actually do yoga today. Well, we've got yoga experts to actually rate India's yoga mantris. That's coming up next. Don't miss it.